Getting motivated to declutter, I think, is one of the hardest parts of the entire process. I find it very overwhelming myself, and because of this, did not declutter my space for most of my life up until recently. So let's talk today about some ways that you can maybe simplify, break things down, and get motivated. I was actually really inspired by the Super Bowl. I watched a commercial by Uber Eats, or it was for Uber Eats, and it made me laugh so hard. It was, in order to remember something, you have to forget something else. Anyway, I'll see if I can link the commercial. Let's apply this to decluttering. What if, in order to declutter, you could forget something else? In other words, I'm not gonna fold all the laundry today like I normally do. I take time and fold each individual thing beautifully and then put it all away that way. What if instead, just lay it nicely in a pile or lay it nicely in baskets and have your kids put it away, or you put it away unfolded? So forget something else. Forget the folding so that you have more capacity to declutter. Maybe you're gonna do a grocery pickup or have groceries delivered instead of going out to the store. You're gonna make that time up somewhere else. You're gonna compensate for that time lost and for that energy expended. When I first started decluttering, I said, okay, use a think about it box, a time will tell, as Dawn from the Minimal Mom will call it. Basically, as you're decluttering, fill up a box of maybes, things you're not sure about. You can set it aside and decide later. Then I said, no, don't do that. Do a ruthless declutter. Don't have all these time will tell boxes lying around. I also like to call these thinking boxes, but I say absolutely at this point, do it. If that is going to help you from getting decision fatigue and it's going to put you into motion, 100% have a thinking box. And I think this is especially helpful for items that you are afraid you're going to need. If nothing else, if you don't even declutter things out of your home, as a first step, if you're feeling very unmotivated, go around your house and put things into your thinking box. Pack these up for however long, a few months, 6 months, 2 weeks, it's up to you. But that really gets you started. It puts you in motion without having to make final decisions. All right, I think we've all heard of the 3-box method for decluttering, where you have a bin for trash or a bag, a bin for donations, and then a bin for keep items. What I found in my experience is that the keep items, most of the items that you're keeping actually go in that space. So I don't feel that you necessarily need a separate category for keep, but I do think you need a separate category for relocate. So I'm gonna approach this a little bit differently. Have your trash, have your donate, and then have a relocate bin. Now, I have preached Dana K. White's 5-step decluttering method, and I stand by it, but I feel like you have to have quite a large amount of energy, time, and motivation to do it. If you are lacking these things, then one of her steps, which is relocate it now, if you find something that belongs in a different area, you are going to pick it up right then and deal with it. If you do not have time for that, and if you're like, if that's the only way that I can declutter, then forget it. That's way too much work. I'm not doing it. Then I have another suggestion for you. Do the 3-step method or the 3-box method, but on the 3rd, instead of your keep items, have a relocate pile. This is allowing you to put stuff into this pile, and at the end of the decluttering session, you're gonna relocate it in one swoop. You're not doing individual runs around the house, you are doing it at the end. Now, to keep yourself from temptingly holding onto this stuff, shoving it into the corner, not getting to it, getting distracted, which is why I try and stay away from it if possible, but I understand that there is a time and place for it, like in this example. So what you're gonna do is maybe set aside a certain amount of time for decluttering that day. Let's say 15 minutes. You're going to set the timer, first of all, and then at the very end, you're going to leave 5 minutes just to relocate items. So it's not time that feels like it's going over the decluttering project. Like, oh, it's this extra thing at the end. know you're including it in the decluttering session very specifically. So I would recommend doing this if you are, again, low on time, low on energy, and you're very, very overwhelmed. You're feeling unmotivated. So you can try Dana's method at some point later. Just don't forget that at the end of the session, you've got to throw your trash away, deal with your donations, as in put them in your car, and then spend a few minutes relocating. Otherwise, you've just made sorted stacks. You haven't dealt with anything, and you are no better off, really, because in the end, things will pile back up together. Okay, here's a little tip, because inevitably, I think you're gonna come across items that need to be relocated, but you don't know where they go. And this is a whole nother video. I will make one soon, but I like to ask myself, where would I use this item most often? And remember, just because an item is useful does not mean you use it or that you will use it. And then I just ask, where would I use this item most often? Take it to that space. If that space has no room, as Dana would say, make it fit, you're gonna have to declutter something else. The red dot system actually comes from Swedish death cleaning. And this is where you have a little red and a little green sticker. Does not have to be these colors. I always say, don't let the details deter you. If you don't have a trash bag that's black, you're gonna use a white one because you're not gonna let the detail of not having a black trash bag deter you from doing the project. So if you don't have a red and a green sticker, use something else. Don't let this deter you. Use a sticky note or whatever color stickers you have. So what you're gonna do is you're going to go around the house instead of actually decluttering items. Now this is gonna take a little bit of time. So this is where the motivation is really the issue, and you're really feeling like, I just need to get some momentum underneath my belts. I just need to start moving, but I'm not ready to make some tough decisions and physically move it out of my house. So you're just gonna go around with these dots. Green is, I'm definitely keeping this item. So you're gonna stick a little sticker on that item. Then red is, you know what? I am pretty much certain that I can get rid of this. And maybe you use a yellow as well and say, I'm thinking about this. It's another way to do a thinking box, is to maybe label the items. Now you might say it's too annoying to go back around and have to take all these stickers off. Well, you can donate items with stickers. That is absolutely no problem. And maybe this will motivate you to try and get rid of a little bit more. So go ahead and stick or a sticky note, if you're worried about the stickiness, all over the house, and just pre-make the decisions before the decluttering takes place. And then don't let yourself second guess. When you go to actually take your muscles into the project, I say honor your first instinct, because oh my goodness, it is almost always correct. I adore acronyms. I think they're fun. They help us remember things. So if you're overwhelmed with your already huge pile of to-dos around the house, your cleaning checklist, and this is where you're like, I'm already too busy just running my house. I don't have time, energy, or the motivation to declutter. You are going to do the list, and on this list are dishes, trash, and laundry. So DTL, do the list. It is the thing, the bare bones, the bare bones of tidying, in my opinion, that can help you stay on top of your house, but also have the capacity for decluttering. It's almost like this idea that I talked about with the Super Bowl commercial, where you're pulling that from somewhere else. You're actually going to only focus on the things that have to be run. If you don't run your washer, then your laundry is gonna pile up. You are dependent on that machine running every single day or every week, whatever your routine is, to keep things flowing. Same with the dishes. If you let it pile up, it becomes a nightmare. And not only that, but people won't have dishes to eat dinner, and nobody will have clean underwear. So you're gonna highly prioritize these things. And then the trash for me is just obvious. If things are spilling out all over the place, smelling terrible, it is a huge issue. When you break things down, suddenly I feel they're so much more manageable and more approachable, and they just get us into motion. And so much of motivation, I think, comes after we take that first step. So if you can just get yourself going, whether whether or not, like I said, you physically carry stuff out of your house today, if you start taking action, the rest will come more easily. It's the getting started that's difficult. Let me know which of these tips you think will work for you. I'm excited to chat in the comments. Thanks for being here today, and I'll see you soon. Bye.